We're handing over some of our most critical decisions to AI, things like medical diagnoses or major financial calls. But here's the thing, how can we really trust an answer when we have no idea how it got there? Well, today, we're gonna crack open that black box.
I mean, this is the question, right? Especially in these high-stakes fields. We rely on these systems because they're incredibly powerful, but that power comes with a massive problem. We often can't see the thinking behind the conclusion. It's kind of like getting an answer from some super genius who just won't show you their work.
And this brings us to a major challenge in modern AI, something researchers are calling the opacity crisis. Basically, the more powerful and complex these AI models get, the more they become these mysterious black boxes. And that makes them incredibly difficult to audit, to fix, or frankly, to trust.
So you've got two fundamentally different ways of thinking about this. On one side, you have your traditional monolithic AI. It's one big, powerful model that spits out an answer, but its internal process is completely hidden. On the other side, there's this new approach we're diving into today, which acts more like a transparent glass box.
And that's where the real danger lies with these monolithic systems. Think about it. If something goes wrong, a bad medical diagnosis, a flawed safety check, and you can't trace the error back to its source, well, that's a massive problem for both safety and for accountability.
Okay, so what if we scrapped that whole one mysterious genius idea? What if instead we could build a whole team of AI specialists that have to collaborate and actually show their work? This is where a new approach comes in, offering a totally different way to build trust. And that's the core idea behind a brand new method called EODD, which stands for Explicit Orchestrated Decision Design. It completely rethinks the architecture. It breaks down a single huge decision into a structured collaborative process between a bunch of different AIs. So instead of one black box, you get this transparent team. And it's really cool how they've set it up. It's like a committee of experts. First, you have the reasoner, who does the main analysis. Then the checker comes in like a meticulous fact checker, making sure the logic holds up. After that, the ethics reviewer weighs the moral side of things. And finally, the explainer writes it all up so a person can actually understand the whole process. You see, it's an AI system with checks and balances baked right in. Okay, so this sounds awesome, but how do you actually build something like this? Well, the great thing about the EODD method is that it's not just some high-level idea. It's a super practical, 7-step blueprint for engineering this transparency right into the AI's DNA from the get-go. And here it is, the whole process laid out. You can see right away how it's this complete workflow for designing transparency in from the very start, instead of trying to bolt it on later as an afterthought. You can see how each step just flows right into the next. All right, let's really dig into this, because this is the heart of the whole thing. Step 1, decision context. You've got to start by defining what's at stake. Step 2 is decision decomposition. This is huge. You break the big, messy problem into smaller, bite-sized questions. Step 3 is where you assign those AI specialists we just met to each piece. Step 4, orchestration roles, sets the ground rules for how that team works together. Then, in Step 5, decision synthesis. The system pulls all that specialist work into one recommendation. And then Step 6, this is so important, it generates the decision trace. Think of it as the ultimate receipt of the AI's entire thinking process. And it all leads to the most important part, Step 7, human review, where a person can look at all the work and have the final say. Okay, this all sounds amazing on paper, but does it actually work in the real world? Well, researchers wanted to find out, so they put it to the test. They pitted the transparent EODD system head-to-head with a traditional black box AI. And the results? Honestly, they're pretty staggering. Look at this. When people could actually see how the AI was thinking, their trust in it skyrocketed. The average rating jumped from a pretty lukewarm 3.15 for the black box to a much more confident 5.10 for the EODD system. That is a massive difference. And we're not talking about a small preference here. More than 76% of the time, that's over 3/4, people actively chose the transparent system, the one that showed its work, as the one they'd rather rely on. But wait, this brings up a really important question, right? If you're showing all this extra detail, doesn't that just overwhelm the person who has to review it? Doesn't more transparency just make their job harder? And the answer to that is maybe the most incredible finding of all, a big, fat no. The study found that the structured way EOD explains itself actually made the AI's logic easier to understand,
without making people's brains hurt. So clarity doesn't have to mean complexity.
So, this is way more than just a clever bit of engineering. It's a complete shift in how we think about building AI. We're moving from just blindly trusting the AI is right to a system where we can actually check the work for ourselves.
And this really is the big picture. That opacity crisis we talked about at the start, the EODD framework is a direct answer to that, turning it into what you could call verifiable